So some of you may know this by now, but the iPhone XS, which is an iPhone that came out back in 2018, is such an awesome iPhone still, and it is actually pretty crazy because as you're looking through all these devices that Apple's basically made, you probably would think like a device like the iPhone XS isn't really worth buying anymore, or that it's kind of like an irrelevant device. But you'd actually be surprised in a lot of different ways how good of a job this particular iPhone still holds up in 2024. And although I probably would not recommend buying this iPhone if you're planning on using it for like 10 or 15 years, for a phone that, for a backup phone for like a year or two, or for a phone that you need to use in a pinch for like a year or two, I think this thing is still a pretty decent option. And the biggest thing is the fact that this particular phone ended up getting iOS 18. Now, you probably already know this, but iOS 18 is that next iteration of software. It's a very big change, I would say, from iOS 17. And the craziest thing is that for a majority of features on iOS 18, there is still a lot of overlap between, iOS 18 and iOS 17. But within iOS 18 on the iPhone, XS, iPhone 11, iPhone 12, 13, 14, there is a lot of overlap between these types of versions of software, which is actually very, very cool. So personally for me, from like that particular perspective, it actually makes me very happy whenever an iPhone like the iPhone XS comes around and it's still supported with software, because it's still very much worth buying in some ways as well. Now, on top of that, I would say that build quality is still very interesting. Like, it is not like a super cheap or terrible iPhone from that particular perspective either. And I will tell you, I think Apple did a really good job with the, exterior of this iPhone. And because the newest iPhones still kind of have there's definitely improvements, but for some reason, whenever I hold my iPhone XS and some of my newer phones, I still think there's a lot of overlap between these types of devices, which again is actually very crazy for me just to kind of think about. I think the biggest thing too, on top of all those things, is the performance. The performance of an iPhone like the iPhone XS is still very, very good. It's a very good performing device. And I definitely do think for the most part, I do think Apple did a really good job with the performance of this iPhone, and the fact that it's still very much very decent from apps that I open, from games that I played on this thing, and so many other things. It is actually a very relevant and a very good device for the most part, which makes me very happy to kind of still use this phone and kind of use it if I need to. So I definitely will tell you, an iPhone like the iPhone XS is still a very good iPhone for sure. I think it's very much still worth buying for some people. It's not, like I said, the first phone I'd recommend people to buy, but I do think Apple for the most part did a really, really decent job with it at the end of the day. So that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.